And we got another year of this.
So so Joe Biden's out. Trump's going to run again even with 48.
Of course.
Even with 48 charges.
Because charges aren't guilties.
Okay.
Number one.
So is there anybody else out there that you've been hearing about that's worthy of being spoken on?
DeSantis is running in Florida. He's been a very good governor. Nikki Haley is running. She was a great governor in South Carolina. Some people don't think so, but she brought a lot of economy into this area. Okay. Volvo into the Charleston area.
BMW.
And all of those things, right?
Yep.
There's a couple of people that I was interested at the beginning, and they've kind of gone a little weird. Like RFK Jr. was cool for a minute.
Okay.
Because he had some different things to say, but further along that I got into it, I'm a conservative, and he's on the Democrat side, but he changed to independent, if that tells you anything, just now.
Okay.
From what I remember.
What does it tell you?
That the Democrat, even Bill Maher, the liberal talk show host comedian, has said that the Democratic Party has gone astray and has gone too far, and he is no longer identifying with what is happening on that side of the aisle now.
Do you feel like Democrats, do they just are begging for help and not fighting for help, or
when you say Democrat are you talking about Democrat politicians or Democrat people?
More so the politicians.
No, the Democrats know exactly what they're doing.
Okay.
They're trying to change everything, and it's not. I mean, if you think about it, if you listen to what they actually are saying and the things that have been proven incorrect over duration, what do they say? What's the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth? About 1.5 years.
Never heard that one, but I like it.
Yeah. Just stick around for a minute. You'll find out if it's true or not. And there's a whole lot of things that have become true that were denied by the entire Democrat Party and all of for example, the FBI and the DOJ and all that stuff that's going on right now, and all the Biden money and the payoffs and all of those kind of things. It's absolutely a perfect storm for World War III when you have somebody that's corrupt, inept, weak, and senile, leading the most powerful country in the world and not doing anything about all of the crap that's going down.
Right. Just sweeping under his rug.
I don't think the people that are telling him what to do have any interest in slowing it down because they're making too much money. Pharmaceutical companies with COVID and now war.
Right.
Never endless. And now we have never endless COVID shots, which every time you get a shot, somebody gets paid. And they found out that it did come from the lab, by the way.
What's that, COVID?
Yep. You remember how the entire media and everybody was saying that it didn't come from the lab? It was a bad. Now it's a lab.
So it's man-made plague that they put out here for us.
Correct.
That lasts for almost 4 years? 3?
Yeah. Well, it's still going on if people are still getting the shot.
Yeah, because I feel like that's the one thing that I've seen that's changed society in the last 20 years was the COVID.
What has it changed for you?
Well, it's changed how I look at things and how I want to take better care of my health as much as I possibly can, so I have to depend on the government. But it also changed your state of mind, because a long time ago we were we used to have a choice. We used to have a choice if we wanted something in our body or not. And what has changed for me is I lost that choice, because if I wanted to keep food on my table.
Well, hold on a second. Now that's cool, and I like where you're going with that, because I do want to go down that road, but I'll combat that just a little bit by one of the arguments that is used on the other side, which is you have to have your inoculations and immunizations prior to going into the public school system. That was required.
Right.
So you had to have all of your immunizations, right?
Right.
And that's cool. What was the difference?
No, I'm just saying more so from a working standpoint, because.
Yeah, but what was the difference in this required immunization over all of the other ones that nobody fought, except for those people who were, the outskirts?
It was mandated.
Well, so are the other ones if you want to go to school.
But I'm talking about work. I ain't talking about school. I'm talking about
as an adult.
I'm talking about as a grown up.
Okay.
I get it. You had to have certain shots to be able to your tetanus, all your different kind of shots just to be accepted to school. But when you're grown, you almost have a sense of you have to have those shots. You know what I mean, to have a job.
I think one of the arguments
after COVID, you had to have that shot to work. And
I think one of the arguments that was placed to me was when I was having these discussions with other people, obviously, was you're not only getting the shot for you, you're getting the shot for somebody else because you are wanting to be part of society and protect other people from you.
Right.
Well, when did when did it? It sounds selfish, but it's really not if you think about it in a societal whole. When did it become my responsibility to keep you healthy?
Right.
It's my responsibility to keep me healthy. It's your responsibility to keep you healthy. Why do I need to get a shot for you to come outside?
I guess it's more so because they was worried about the spreading of it. You know what I mean?
Certainly.
If we can.
Certainly.
If we can
but isn't that
maintain it.
Right, but that's the responsibility of each individual to protect themselves.
Yeah.
It is not my responsibility to protect you.
And to answer your question, it just changed a whole lot of ways I looked at things going through the process of COVID. You get what I'm saying? Just the way people changed with it.
Well, give me an example.
Just, staying 6 feet, everybody being cautious of space.
Oh, social rules.
Everything, going. I remember when it first started and you go into the gas station, you got 6 paces behind everybody and you got plexiglass everywhere.
But then you could get in an elevator.
Crazy. You're right.
With 10 people.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
Or don't be the person without the mask anywhere.
And then you double masked.
You know what I mean? All that stuff, you know what I mean? And it just was a big cluster F. You know what I mean?
Yes.
For real.
So what do you think then, 3 years later, give or take, right? What do you think has lingered? Because we're not walking around with masks anymore. We're not 6 feet away from each other anymore.
But COVID is still out here.
Right, but we're not doing the death count anymore. We're not mask mandates anymore. That
I think it made us immune.
What do you think the war has distracted us? Do you think the economy has distracted us?
From COVID?
Do you think the Trump trials have distracted us? Yeah.
From COVID?
Yeah. There's always got to be a news cycle or something, right?
It's that, but it came and it went, but it's still here. If that makes any kind of sense. The scar. Yeah, exactly.
That scar itches, you know what I mean? That's fake itching.
It's a scab on the society, you know what I mean? And it's not.
Do you still look really quick if somebody sneezes or coughs around you?
Not as much.
No.
Not as much. No. But when it first happened though, you couldn't sneeze or do anything. You couldn't fart. You couldn't do nothing without anybody. I remember one time, I think I was at where was I at, yo? Grocery store or something, and somebody says excuse me no more. You know what I mean? Bless you, none of that stuff, all that stuff cut out. We just look at you like, oh, go away. You know what I mean?
Ain't that something?
Yeah. Wash your hand immediately. It made you real germophobia.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
But does that linger still?
Not as much. No, because I didn't take it serious until I got it.
I wonder what kind of
or affected me when affected me when the country started changing and they started shifting the policies to make it work for companies, and companies didn't have to pay you anymore after you got caught with COVID. If you got caught with COVID after a certain amount period of time.
Is that the real thing?
Oh, what you mean?
Because I'm a self-employed guy. I wasn't hired
it's
by
a real
anybody,
thing. It was a real thing. COVID was going on for a while, and then it slowed down. So companies was like, if you catch COVID, you're just gonna have to miss work.
Oh, like sick days?
Yeah, not even sick days. Like you could use those if you got them.
Right.
But
it's no longer
the company's response.
A free pass just because it's a big deal.
Exactly.
Now it's treated like a normal sick day.
Yeah, they said you can't write taxes off on this no more to the companies. You get what I'm saying?
So did it coincide with when everything? No, yeah. But did it coincide with everything opening back up? Is that when they said if you get?
Oh no, everything was already. I say this is about. Let's say a year ago. COVID's been 4 years. COVID was like 3 years. So let's say a year ago.
We'll call it the top of 20 that everything went down.
Okay, 2000. I'll say so. Say like 2022, the beginning of 2022.
That's when they put that effect.
That's when they put it in effect. Like, hey, we got Pfizer, we got Moderna. You know what I mean? So we got a cure.
So now it's on you.
So now it's on you if you get it, and you better save some money and have some sick days.
Do you think that we're now looking at it just like if it were the regular old flu?
I think it's definitely that. I think it's just another. We know what it is, and we're gonna throw it right there with everything else.
Huh?
Ebola, all that. It's just another common cold.
So let's go down.
Swine flu. Can we still get the flying swine flu?
I suppose if we jump into a bag of swines.
Okay, I'm just asking.
I don't know. What about bird flu? What about H1?
H1N1. Where did that go?
Told you, man.
Where'd monkeypox go?
I'm telling you, man. It is news cycle. Something interrupted that news cycle. Because if you go, I've been in the news business since I keep saying news funny. I've been in the news business since 2000.
Right.
Ish, right? A little before, I think, maybe. And there was always a cycle. I did not pay attention to it like I do now because I was in it every day, right?
Right.
If you're in that pool, you don't know, like
don't really pay
boiling
attention.
that frog, right?
Right.
You ever heard that, boiling the frog?
I get it.
Yeah. So I didn't know how hot it was in there, but once you're out and you look at it from a different perspective, you can see
more.
how it's like a river, a current of news. Everything just happens. As if you look at every different channel, they're all preaching this, they're all talking about the same damn stories.
Yeah.
All the time. They even use the same daggone, especially if you're looking at local. They're all using the same words. It's not news. It's weird. It's propaganda. It feels
Right.
strange.
Right.
When everybody's saying the exact same words, they're not even putting their own spin on it. But when everybody's reading the prompter and it's all saying the same thing, that means it came from the same place. Where's that?
Right.
I want to know where that is. And who is the they that's writing?
Right, right. That goes back to that movie I told you about a long time ago. Roddy Piper, They Live. They Live. Check that movie out. I remember
that was the one we couldn't remember the name of?
Right.
Yeah.
They Live. Because it's like the society is programming us to believe one thing and they have another objective on their end.
That is
Like programming.
That's full circle. That's what's going on in the entire world. One side wants one way and one side wants the other way, and it's either religious or it's power,
Political.
which is the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all same branch.
You don't get paid a lot of money for being the president, but you do
Right.
have a whole lot of power.
Influence. Right.
Well, I suppose if you're Biden, you get paid a lot of money for being president. Ta-dum-dum.
There's way more than that 200,000, huh? Or 400,000.
I think it's 4 now, but they just uncovered a check where he got $200,000 as a quote unquote loan repayment from his brother. Where did that money come from? And he's not, what? Come on, fellas. I mean, how obtuse, to use Shawshank Redemption? Why are you being so obtuse? It is beyond imagination why there are so many people in the United States right now that are dissuaded from the truth by the news that isn't telling them everything.
Well, I think that's when people
You have to ask why.
I think that's when people start to get they start to question the authority and they start to look for the truth their own. You know what I mean? Like they have to find it their own way.
All Americans do that by habit, question authority.
It's
That's how we were founded.
Right. Nah, you're
It's
right.
in our DNA. You tell us we can't do something, we go and do it bigger.
Yeah, or a different way.
Every time. Have you seen our trucks?
Yeah.
have you the ones we own personally?
Yeah.
So yeah. So what do you think is going to happen in the next 6 months?
As far as with the election or as far as the world?
Yeah.
I think we still
Let's take it down to a neighborhood level. What changes? Because really nothing is too over the top and out of control unless things in the neighborhood change.
right.
You know what I mean? Like strangers are now in your house,
Right.
in your front yard. Nothing else changes. I mean, things can get more expensive at the grocery store.
I think
but
I think like especially with if a war was to have an uprising, I'm watching these gas prices fluctuate a whole lot lately.
Yeah.
I'm watching these groceries have inflation a whole lot lately.
Yeah.
I'm watching these jobs stay the same. More so like
You mean to pay?
the pay,
Yeah.
right? Like the wages they can go up. They give you crumb and crumb and crumb. They keep
Yeah.
coming to work, but like this, they're building all these subdivisions around here, but they're not creating a whole lot of jobs to put people in there. You know what I mean? If that makes any kind of sense, you know what I mean?
They're
Like,
projecting that the jobs will come
right.
if the people come.
If the people
But
come,
that's kind of reverse.
but that's kind of like overpopulation too.
well,
Overpopulating a place.
I think Charleston's
is-
too thick right now.
Right, yeah. I know so many people from Ohio.
Just this morning or yesterday, on the interstate,
It was an accident, right?
there was a bad accident. 3 cars, or
People start turning
two
around.
cars and a motorcycle.
People start turning around.
They
Right?
were sitting there for 3 hours. People were going into the woods to pee.
Wow.
Like this is right down the road.
Right.
I mean, so so it's ridiculous. I'm glad that I work from home most of the time,
God
and when I
bless.
do go out to shoot something, photograph something, video something, not shoot something, I try to schedule it after 9 a.m. so I don't have to fight that
That's
nastiness.
traffic, yeah, because
Geese.
Traffic. Yeah, Charleston definitely has some of the worst traffic. From 6 to 8.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying. I mean, it's not. It may not be as bad as Atlanta or whatever. But for the distance we have to travel, and the population density that we have, it's extraordinarily
it's very
frustrating.
It's very fucking bad.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like you said, it's not like a major city where it's like Atlanta, California, Los Angeles, New York. You're not fighting those like really bad ones.
And if that's the worst thing that we got to think about right now, rather than paratroopers coming out of the sky like Red Dawn or something,
we're not so
we're
bad.
not there yet.
Yeah, we're not so bad off.
I suppose we have to count our blessings and complain about what's happening on the other side of the earth, hoping it doesn't come onto our side.
Right. Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Except that they're coming over to our side through the southern border, but that's for another discussion. Sir, I say we wrap it up.
It was nice talking to you.
Cheers. Maybe we'll do this outside thing again too. This wasn't so bad once it's about 10 more minutes, the sun will go down below the trees. You've been squinting the whole time.
Yeah, because it was in my eyes a little bit.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's all good, I'm just happy we got an episode back because we haven't been so busy.
We have been so busy.
So we just had to chop it up, see what the world was.
Well, I came back off a trip, and then I had to catch up on client stuff.
Right, you was working.
Yep, and then you had your daughter go and do band stuff and all of that stuff that's going on with your family.
High Stags
there
band.
we go. There we go.
They made us. They almost placed in the lower state, but next year.
Next year, it's always next year. What does your daughter plays the trombone?
She plays the baritone.
Baritone, trombone. Yeah. You said trombone.
Trombone.
Does it look like a trombone?
But it's a brass. It's like two. It's like.
It's two separate instruments.
She actually plays 5 instruments.
No kidding.
But she plays baritone in the middle school and she plays trombone in high school.
What's a baritone look like?
It's like a big oval. It's kind of short, but a big oval round.
Like a French horn kind of deal?
Almost like that.
Okay.
Almost exactly like that. And trombone is the slide.
Yeah. All right,
doing her thing.
That's awesome. Okay. Musical talent, man.
Yeah.
That'll keep you not bored when you're older.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I think we signed off. Okay.
Oh, damn. But we're recording audio.
Okay.
Our video just ended, but I'm going to let the recording go. We're going to say goodbye because, well, the video ended. See you next time. Maybe we'll be in a different location. We've got a couple of field trip episodes.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a guest on one, and then we have another one I'm not going to talk about yet because it's still in the works, but it involves food.
Okay.
All right, man. That was a fun one.
Yes, sir.
Cheers.
I'm calling my daughter. Let her know I'm wrapping up now.